Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Zach and Sully podcast. This is episode 4. We thank you for
I
tuning
think
in.
it's 5.
Is it 5?
Probably something like that. I don't know. I think it is, but who cares?
All right, episode 5. My bad. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Josh Sullivan, live from Lee, Massachusetts. Zach DaCosta from Columbus, Ohio. He's with me.
What's going on? I know you guys all missed us so much, how devastated you were that we weren't able to get this out for you on Thursday, but we'll make it up to you.
24 hours late. Please forgive us. We'll have it up on Podbean afterwards. You guys can download it, listen to it while you work out. But to start off our show, we're going to ask one question only. Is that a girls' tour? Or is that a world tour? Or is that your girls' tour? We're talking rap beefs here. We're talking rap beefs.
So, yeah, lots going on in the rap world right now. You got beefs going on all over the place. 2016 is looking out to be a hysterical year. So I think the most popular one of the past week was the most unpredictable rap beef. You could have, like, who would have predicted that B.O.B was going to go after Neil Degrasse Tyson, the famous astronomer, you want to call it, or TV host, scientist?
Well, yeah, I don't know. He's
world-renowned.
Physics, astrophysics, and stuff like that.
He's a smart guy, very, very intelligent, a lot smarter than B.O.B is. So B.O.B goes in this rant one week, maybe a little less than a week ago, and says this like crap that the Earth is flat, and he's like saying all this other BS that like about the Illuminati or something like that, and he's saying that the people are going to go after him, and he's like, yeah, well, the government is paying Tyson all this money to lie to people to cover up secrets, and it's so ridiculous. He has lines where he says like, whoa, use your common sense. Why do you think NASA is part of the Department of Defense? All right, first of all, idiot, NASA's not part of the Department of Defense, and it's not even associated at any cabinet level. So anything that NASA does, they report right to the White House. It has nothing to do with the Department of Defense. So I don't understand where this idiot's coming from and like coming out with all this crap. So anyways, Tyson comes out and he hires, or not even hires, I guess, gets this guy to do a rap song for him. It was hysterical. And then to make matters worse for B.O.B, he goes on the Late Show with Larry Wilmore last night and embarrasses him on national television. So B.O.B, rest in peace. Your career is done. Sully, you have anything else to add to that?
I want to know why do people keep coming out saying the Earth is flat? We figured that out. That is long gone. Columbus wouldn't have sailed around the ocean blue were the Earth flat. He would have fallen off. I don't get why this is still a thing. Tia Tequila, which I can't even speak. She's so irrelevant.
She's such a moron. It is so hysterical too. Like, these people are so idiotic that it's like you try to like think that like, are they going to do it for like a publicity stunt? Like, would you really reach to that kind of low to get people to like realize, hey guys, I'm alive. The Earth is flat. Listen to my music. Like, you sound so stupid just like presenting these ideas to like just to get like people to like remember who you are. But like, would you like stoop down to something that idiotic to like go out and like tell all these people that like these bizarre and ridiculous theories? Like, want to say something about that?
Speaking of listening to your music, speaking of seeking attention, speaking of all that stuff, the Kanye and Wiz Twitter beef, I will say, and we're going to dive into this, but I will say the second Kanye tweeted mentioning Kid Cudi, one of our favorite rappers, both me and Zach, we love him. But not
after that last album he just put out, he is absolutely out of his mind. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but
yeah, that was
the name of the album? Spitting. I can't remember the album. It'll come to me in a little bit. But if you ever get a chance to listen to it, it is the worst album I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm not over-exaggerating that. It is absolute garbage. That's all I'm going to say. There's no other way to describe it. It's terrible.
It's bad. It's very bad. And you
go on what you were saying, though. Sorry about that. I had to get that out.
No, it's okay. It's awful. He hit the satellite Man on the Moon 3. Everyone's waiting for it, and it hasn't come out. And honestly, I don't know if it'll ever come out. I'm wondering. He's always been kind of experimental. He likes experimenting with musics. He also was acting for a little bit. He was in the Entourage movie. He played Ari Lloyd's secretary. I don't know if you saw that, Zach.
I did not know, but you did tell me there was a couple songs in that movie that I was pretty cool, like Tame Impala and stuff. So I'll have to check it out just for the music. But anyway, so go on what you're saying about Kanye, Cudi, whatever.
Anyway, for those of you out there who don't know, out of nowhere, Wiz Khalifa, big rapper, Black and Yellow, tweets out something about to hit that KK. Kanye West takes that as Kim Kardashian's initials and just unleashes on on Wiz, a series of 16 tweets, and they all just bash his career, and they're bashing his style, they're bashing his his child. One of the tweets was literally, I hope you know that I'm the reason that you have a child. I'm your OG. How dare you disrespect me? Just all this crazy typical Kanye stuff.
Yeah, and then Wiz came out and was like, why did you name your album Waves? Like, that makes no sense. You're not, like, part of the wavy movement or any of this kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, like, I thought Swish was, like, a bad name. And I thought about it for a little bit when it came out. Like, Waves, yeah, it would be a little cool. And then as the day progressed and I thought about it more, I'm like, yeah, this is dumb. Like, Kanye can do a lot better than that. Like, how much does the album really associate with, like, the idea of it? And you have to, like, be a little bit, like, relevant when you come to name an album. If you're not part of something, then don't do it. To me, Wiz, like, he's not, I don't find him a very creative rapper. I just think he applies to, like, a certain audience, which is fine. That's where he makes his money. He raps about getting stoned. He raps about weed. He raps about party. He applies to a certain audience. So, but for Kanye to kind of, like, go out and do this, and it's classic Kanye. He goes on a Twitter rant. He sounds like an idiot. He's a guy who's got a short fuse. He says all this shenanigans about things, and then he sounds like and looks like the most angry, pissed off person in the world. And then he deletes all the tweets and says, all right, well, I'm erasing all that. I just want to show I have all positive energy, nothing but positive energy, guys. And it's like, dude, like, he tries to be this person that he's not. Like, he's not a chill, positive energy person. He's a maniac with a short fuse. He gets angry about things very easily, and he regrets it immediately. He just doesn't really, like, think before he says things, you know? So
he proved that to us at the the VMAs with Miley Cyrus, and when Taylor Swift presented him that award.
Yep.
And I thought, and when he got up there and he started rambling and he goes, and yeah, I smoked a little something to take the edge off. It's like, dude, no one cares. Like,
how cringeworthy was it last year? Or I forgot what it was. I think it was the MTV Music Awards when he won an award and people were just clapping for him, and he stood on stage saying absolutely nothing. And he belts this idiotic, like, prolonged speech that makes no sense. And then he announced that he was, like, running for president and all that. And I was like, it was so embarrassing and, like, just hard to watch, like, him say these kind of things. And it sucks because he's such a talented dude, like, when it comes musically, like, producing, and I don't mind his music. Like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is one of my favorite albums. I have it in my record collection, along with A College Dropout and Late Registration. And even then, I like Graduation as well. But the thing is, it's just he goes out and says and acts like this idiotic person all the time, and it does a lot of damage to, like, his reputation. And he just doesn't sound like, a lot of people, like, want people to be humble, and I get that he wants to be a little different, and that's not his style. But saying that you have positive energy and you're all that, he's so full of crap. He really is. It's just.
Here's some of the tweets. First, he says, people must think I'm not petty because I'm the best that's ever made music. Like, oh, that's Ye, and I can put his wife's initials on my Twitter. Bro, first of all, you stole your whole shit from Cudi, which I thought is hilarious because he kind of did. He stole Cudi's swag. Cudi was always rocking the skinny jeans and the.
Yeah, Cudi was like, when he came out in, like, 08, 09, no, all the rappers were wearing, like, baggy pants, baggy clothes. Kid Cudi came out in this hipster style with the skinny jeans and the Air Forces, and he'd be wearing, like, the Oxfords and stuff, and even, like, the leather jackets. Dude, Kanye was wearing those, like, 3D, like, glasses and stuff that kids were wearing. I even will admit I had a freaking pair when I was in, like, a freshman in high school. That's one of those things you look back on, you're like, why the hell did I ever do that kind of thing? But yeah, Kid Cudi was the one who, like, influenced all that, and Wiz was right about that. The beef was hysterical. It was comical to watch.
Kanye has a point because he goes, second, your first single was corny as F, and most thereafter. And really, like, you said it yourself, like, Kanye's music is fantastic, and, like, the early stuff, College Dropout, Late Registration, that stuff all has real deep meaning to it, and it deals, I think, stuff he dealt with personally, even stuff like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, real personal, tells a story. But Wiz's stoner music, people love to it. I'll listen to it sometimes. It has a good vibe. He came out with that song for Fast and Furious. And that was a good song. See You Again, that was a very good song.
Until the radio completely butchered it and overplayed it. Remember that night I don't know if you read the tweets I had one night. There's like a voting process that should happen at the end of every year where we should ban songs from any airtime. You can listen to it on your personal, like, own being, but, like, banned from TV, radio, and all that kind of stuff. And I believe that's one of the songs that could possibly be on the ballot.
But Black and Yellow got picked up, and it became huge because he released it around the Super Bowl. when the Steelers were playing, and it got picked up by the Steelers and it blew off. Now, like, okay, props to you, good marketing. I don't know. Then he goes, work hard, play hard, and he tweets a picture, kind of making fun of Wiz. You've distracted me from my creative process. I went to you to look at your Twitter, and you were wearing cool pants. I screen grabbed those pants and sent it to my style team. And like, what? Third, no one I ever know has listened to your albums all the way through, which is true.
It is true. No, it is.
But he's just spewing truth. Like, I don't hate this at all. Then he goes, fourth, you let a stripper trap you. Talking about Amber Rose, which I'm not even going to go into that.
Yeah, we're not going to go. We know Amber Rose had a comment for it. She said a bunch of stuff, a lot of weird stuff involving Kanye. Kanye, actually, it's kind of weird because he says the stuff about her and degrades her, and then you have all these like, he married Kim Kardashian. Let's be honest, and he says all these things about people, and then now he's got all these like strippers and former porn stars and stuff now coming out and saying all these weird things about Kanye. And Elisa Ann had a lot of weird stuff to say, so we're not going to get into that here. But you can go on your own and like go on Twitter and read what she like sent to Kanye, some really bizarre stuff. But in a sense, like a lot of what they both said was true. I mean, a lot of things that they just said personally to them, but I don't know. Well, I guess
this is my favorite part. He goes, 7th, I am your OG and will be respected as such. 8th, I made it so we could wear tight pants. 9th, me and Cudi created this shit. And then he goes on and he goes, maybe I couldn't be skinny and tall, but I'll settle for being the greatest artist of all time as a consolation.
That's a little over the top too. I mean,
oh, absolutely. But he thinks that. And honestly, as far as hip hop goes, he's in the top 5 without question. So I'm okay with it.
It's very debatable. I mean, we can go into like the discussion, but I mean, there are definitely people who'd put him up in the top. So I want to talk about this other feud too that's going on because I think it was funny. Obviously, I won't get too much into detail between the 50 Cent Meek Mill one that was like short-lived, but the interesting one I want to talk about is this whole Wu-Tang situation. So Wu-Tang Clan comes out with this album. What's the name of the album again? You had it before?
It's
Night in Shalom.
One Night in Shalom.
One night, Once Upon a Time in Shalom or something like that. So they put out this album. They sell it. It's only one copy. They sell it for like $2 million. And of course, the biggest asshole in the world right now, Martin Shkreli, is that his name? Shkreli?
Yep.
Shkreli. He comes and picks it up, and yeah, he's just.
For those of you who don't know, that's the guy who raised the price of the AIDS drug from like $7 a pill or like
5,000% increase.
Yeah, and he raised it to like a couple hundred or something like that, and people were outraged, and the FDA came down, and I think they arrested him for fraud or something like that. But keep going.
Yeah, he did, but he's out now, I guess. I don't know what the full story with that was, but yeah, so this album comes out, and Wu-Tang, I guess, was hoping that the album was. This is where it gets interesting. I guess they were kind of hoping that the album was like gonna get picked up by some rich dude, and then he was going to present it and let everybody hear it. And this is exactly the opposite. This guy is like trolling them now. So Wu-Tang finds out about this the pharmacy situation where he raises the percentage of the drug by like 5,000%. Ghostface Killah is pissed. He says something about you better present the thing now. And then Shkreli goes in a video claiming that he's going to remove Ghostface Killah from every track on the album. And then like all this other kind of stuff. So video, I guess, of him, and it's pretty funny actually. I think it's hysterical, but he is such an ass, like this guy.
The best part of it is that in the contract when Shkreli bought the album, it said that it could be stolen back by the Wu-Tang Clan or
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Murray is legal.
So the contract says the album can be stolen back at any time. It has to be a planned heist by Wu-Tang Clan and Bill Murray to get the album back. So there's a lot of people on Twitter that are ranting right now. They're like, get these guys together now. I saw like a picture drawn. It's hysterical. It's all the Wu-Tang guys looking like dope, like, and all this like slick clothing, and then Bill Murray's in front with like a cigar, and he has like a walking cane, not like a walking cane, like a pimp cane. It's like some funny stuff. So yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. I don't even know what the hell was gonna like unfold from this. But I was telling you before, I really think this could be a publicity stunt. So like, why would Wu-Tang, knowing them, like they're critically acclaimed rap group, want to like do something other than like grab attention for themselves to kind of present this album? Because I feel in a sense that like you knew if they would have, if why would they write something so like complex about stealing the album back if they knew there was a possibility that somebody like Martin Shkreli would pick up this album and like hold it hostage from Wu-Tang fans? You know what I mean?
I don't think they did. I think they created it with the intention of someone picking it up, like a big hip hop head, like some sort of movie star or athlete or something like that who just loves Wu-Tang, and be like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool, listening to it for like on his own for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, and then release it to the public.
But I think that they're weird enough to do something like that and expect someone like this to plan up, like, or even like script it. Like these are Wu-Tang guys are obsessed with like kung fu movies and like all this other kind of stuff. Like, have you ever heard RZA talk about like his love for like kung fu, or Jizza, I think is another one? Dude, they are obsessed. So I feel like this is like them sitting at home one night, like how awesome would it be if we have this, like they use like a Wu-Tang or like kung fu style thing. Like we have this prized possession. It's our album. It's $2 million. No one can get it. And then this evil guy, Martin Shkreli, comes and picks it up, and we had to plan this heist to get it back. You know what I mean? I feel like they're weird enough to like, and then they were just hysterical. Like, yeah, let's add Bill Murray to the contract too. How funny would that be? You know? Like,
I wonder if Bill Murray was in on it at all before they added him.
I just think they like them being weird enough as it is, like they would do something weird and creative like that. But you know, so. But enough of that. You want to talk about anticipated albums for 2016?
Yeah, well, just in the upcoming month we have a new album from Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. We've got, I think J. Cole is set out. J. Cole is also collabing with Kendrick. They're kind of doing like a Watch the Throne.
Is that true or not? I thought there was a rumor about it. I saw some fan made like a photoshopped like picture of them, but that'd be kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, I would be thrilled. They're good together. They've worked plenty together, and I think that would be great. I think Watch the Throne is one of my favorite albums of all time.
That's a good one. So yeah, there's a couple other ones. Obviously, Kanye West Waves comes out February 11th, formerly Swish, formerly So Help Me God. He's probably going to change it again, I bet. I wouldn't be surprised. Animal Collective, the indie psychedelic, neo-psychedelic electronic band from Baltimore. They're coming out with Painting With. That's in mid-February. I was trying to get tickets to go see them in Columbus, but it's already sold out. Kind of bummed about that. Red Hot Chili Peppers have an album coming out this year, Untitled. Gorillaz, another one.
Wow,
M83.
coming back.
Yeah. M83 is coming out with an album. I love them. Weezer is coming out with a White album.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Weezer's messed up, but
Weezer's last album was good though.
It was very, very good. It was very they know when they mess up and they go back to it. They figure it out. That's what I like about Weezer. So
then Ray LaMontagne is coming out with an album. Drake said he's supposed to come out with something this year. And then the formerly band that quit, Crystal Castles from Canada, they formed again. They're coming out with an album this year, I guess. Now I want to get to the two. Well, obviously Kanye West's album is going to be one of the most acclaimed one. But what everyone is waiting on Frank Ocean's album, Boys Don't Cry. That was supposed to be out in July, and now we're sitting here at the end of January, and with no update on anything from him. So do you want to say anything about that? You like Frank Ocean?
I can't wait for it. I think Channel Orange is the best recent R&B in the past
long time.
10 years.
Flawless.
Yeah. Perfect. That album is perfect top to bottom. And it just musically, if you don't even think about the lyrics and the meaning behind it, for those of you who don't know, Frank Ocean is bisexual, or is he gay?
I think he's bisexual.
So bisexual, was part of Odd Future, which includes Tyler the Creator, and Earl Sweatshirt and all those guys. Real big kind of macho rap group that
there's a beef going on between them now too.
Between the group itself.
Longy Beats and Tyler the Creator, I guess two of the guys, they're not friends anymore. He said that Tyler was really pissed because he was like saying that like a lot of these guys were like not really going anywhere before he came around, and then he let them join their group and tour them, and he was like paying them, and now they're like turning on him. I don't know. It seems like a mess over there, but go on what you're saying about them.
Tyler found Frank, and my favorite thing, they asked, there's an interview with Tyler the Creator when Channel Orange first dropped, and people started figuring out that, wait, he's mentioning guys' names. Leroy, like what's the, he's talking about a guy. He's in love with a guy. So they talked to Tyler the Creator.
Bad Religion, that's all about a dude.
Yep. And so they're talking to Tyler, and they're like, did you know Frank was gay before he came out with the album? He's like, oh yeah, me and Frank are homies. I knew way before he told anyone else. I was one of the first people he told. But to be honest, I always knew there was something wrong with him. The dude liked unfrosted Pop-Tarts. Who likes that? Like The guy must be a little bit weird. Classic Tyler, the Creator weirdness.
So, and then there was other news too this week. Rostam Batmanglesh from Vampire Weekend, he announced that he quit the band, but he's working with them still, I guess, as a producer. What I understand is that they're gonna make music in the. It sort of seems like he's pulling a Brian Wilson here. You know what I mean? So Brian Wilson was like, not that they're the same person. Brian Wilson was like had a lot of anxiety problems and he had trouble like flying and like touring and stuff. So he decided he would stay local in LA and just make music for the Beach Boys, and then they would go on tour without him, and they would continue on. I feel like it's sort of like that because Isra Cohen, the singer of Vampire Weekend, came out with a note stating that he was Batmanglesh is still going to be like part of the album and like produce it and write a little bit, I guess. And then he announced there's a new album coming out at the end of the year. They're coming out with an album called Mitsubishi Macchiato, I guess.
Weird name.
Yeah, I'm excited for it though. I mean, you got my Vampire Weekend poster hidden right behind my record player. I'm a big fan of them, so I'm excited for that as well. But yeah, any thoughts on the Vampire Weekend album?
No, it's definitely gonna be weird. He's leaving to pursue a solo project, right?
Yeah, he did work with Wesley Miles from Robert Riot too.
Yep.
Him and they were in a duo called Discovery, which came out a couple years ago. They have a couple of songs.
Real underground. No one really knew about it.
They have a song called So Insane on that album, and it's really, really good. Robert Riot's coming out with a new album too. That's right.
They are.
They're coming to Columbus in March. I'm gonna go check them out.
Yeah. That's I hope they're coming around this way. I'm sure they are. I'll have to get a ticket out there.
I think they're in Boston right before they come to Columbus, I think. So you might want to go check that out. So, all right, wrap up music. We'll dive right into sports. Want to talk the Pro Bowl first, and then we'll go in the NHL?
So me and Zach have very different takes on the Pro Bowl. We both hate it. First of all, we agree on that.
Is that really different? I think we're pretty similar. Think of it. It's a joke.
I think they should turn it into a flag football game, and you think they should just make it all pro like they do in the NCAA.
I think the game is a complete waste of time. It just doesn't make any sense. All right, so this year is the most times anyone has withdrawn from the Pro Bowl itself. So we had people for injury, and now I think people are just bailing out because they don't want to just participate at all. So the Patriots lose to Denver, and then the next day, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Malcolm Butler, Chandler Jones, Jamie Collins, and Stephen Gostkowski all said we're not going. So they all quit.
I think that's just a big double middle finger to Roger Goodell, though.
It is, too, at the same time. But, I also firmly believe that, yeah, that would make sense. But I believe that these guys just don't want to go over there and play in a meaningless game. So Aaron Rodgers withdrew from an injury. The Packers staff gets hired to go coach. Mike McCarthy now says he has an illness and he's not going to be able to attend. So every quarterback also has withdrawn. There's one remaining starter that was voted in by the fans, and that's Russell Wilson. And then after that, they contact Phillip Rivers and they contact Drew Brees. They both say no. So then now they got Derek Carr and Jameis Winston as starters. These are the freaking 14th guy they've contacted, and now the Pro Bowl is going to go on their resume for getting in because guys quit.
Yeah, me and Zach were talking about this before the show, and you see it a lot in baseball. All-Star games goes on a player's plaque in Cooperstown, and writers will use that as a stat when they're deciding on whether to vote someone into the Hall of Fame or not. Now, we all know that's kind of a biased stat to begin with because, for example, in basketball, like Jordan was playing at the same time as Barkley. I mean, bad example, I guess, because Jordan always was running away with it. But if you have a tremendous player at your position, like Frank Malzone didn't start in that many All-Star games. You know why? Because Brooks Robinson came along 4 years into his career. So Frank Malzone started the first 3 MLB All-Star games he was able to. And then Brooks Robinson came in, he was a backup, and he was on and off as All-Star games, and he never won another Gold Glove after Brooks Robinson started playing the league. So it's really tough to use that. But all of a sudden, you got a guy like Jameis Winston who, yeah, he had an okay year for a rookie quarterback, nowhere near a good enough year to make the Pro Bowl. And now, let's say he goes on and has a stellar career, and he's on the fence. People might vote him in as a first ballot Hall of Famer because he has 11 Pro Bowl appearances. That's crap. It's fake stats.
It is, and that's what I'm saying. And the thing is, with baseball, the game's not meaningless. The winner of the game gets home field advantage in the World Series. So there's guys out there that want to win the game. And yeah, over the years, it's become kind of a joke. It wasn't like it was like in the 70s when Pete Rose was barreling over the catcher and ruining baseball careers trying to get to home field because he knew that the Reds were competing for a championship and he was going to do something about it to get his team the best opportunity to win the home field advantage. But the Pro Bowl means nothing. What? The guys get $39,000, which to them is nothing at all. And then you got to think about it, like a situation like with New England. You got all those guys who play a game in Denver. They're banged up. They played 19 weeks of football already. Now they got to get on a plane, fly from Denver to Massachusetts, stay there for a couple days, get back on a flight, and probably fly like what, 12? Is it like 12 hours or something like that to get to Hawaii?
I have no idea, but it's not quick.
It's not. So you spend a whole day traveling, and yeah, Hawaii is a nice place to hang out and like such. But like, there's other things these guys want to be doing than playing more football. They're going to play in a meaningless game where guys are going to get banged up and roughed up, and it just doesn't make like any sense for me to have this game. So what I had said to you, I proposed this idea like college does it. Just have like an All-American team or an All-Pro team. Like, oh, he was an All-Pro. Like that's the name they use for it. So like when you go to like Hall of Fame balloting and you like want to see what their resume is like, he's like, oh, well, he was an All-Pro like 12 times. So like you take 3 quarterbacks, like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and like I don't know who's another one, Peyton Manning. 3 of those guys, those are the 3 All-Pro quarterbacks, and then like you go down the list by position, and then that's how they get voted in. The Pro Bowl sucks. No one watches it. No one cares. People withdrawing. No, it just gets more and more of a laughable every single year.
But you know why they keep having it is because you said 7.1 million people tune in. That's not a lot.
3 years ago, it was 5 million last year. That's nothing.
But that's still revenue. They still make revenue off jerseys. They still make revenue off sponsors. They will never stop doing it because some people are still crazy enough to tune in. Most people aren't. The NHL All-Star Weekend is the same weekend normally. That's way more entertaining. Which it's not that much better of a game. We'll get into that in a little bit. But here's what I think they should do. You have a flag football game. You put J.J. Watt at quarterback. You put Peyton Manning out at wide receiver. You have 5 seconds and you can blitz the quarterback. That would be funny to see. And if people start withdrawing because they don't want to play in it, first of all, if you have injuries, like people are banged up and they don't want to play because they don't want to get tackled, you don't have to worry about that anymore because you have guys running out there. Derek Carr lining up at running back, or heck, get Vince Wilfork out there kicking field goals. It would be hilarious, and people would tune in to see that.
That would be funny. I would love to see Vince Wilfork try to kick a field goal.
Yeah, on what's the age?
Oh wait, yeah, wasn't he like he was like the 4th-string quarterback for the Pats at one point, wasn't he?
Vince Wilfork?
Yeah, dude, there was a whole special on ESPN that said that like if the 3rd-string guy got hurt, Vince Wilfork was the 4th option.
I never saw that.
They did a whole ESPN thing. It was him like back in the pocket, like getting ready to throw. Dude, it was so funny. I'm like, how hilarious would it be? Well, not hilarious, and I'm not going to wish injury upon people, but like if they get that situation at the time, I know Wilfork's with Houston now, but like how funny would it have been if like Wilfork had like gone into the game for the Pats and like threw a couple passes?
I know on Hard Knocks, Bill O'Brien told him to line up, and if he caught a punt return, then Then none of his team had to do extra conditioning, and he caught it with ease. He looked like a natural out there. So I don't know that, but that's what I'm saying. People like, what's one thing to make you turn into a baseball game when it's a blowout? Shortstops pitching, outfielders pitching. You know what I mean? Like people will tune in to watch just because Brock Hill.
Did Ichiro pitch last year?
Who?
Did Ichiro pitch last year?
Ichiro, yeah, he did, and people love it, and if Ichiro could have been a pitcher, he only became an outfielder because
he's a Hall of Famer. The guy is a gifted athlete. He probably could have done anything on the baseball field.
Yep, but people would tune in to watch that, and it would give it so much more meaning. And you could get your stars out there. And guess what? If you can't, it would still be hilarious to have a defensive lineman playing quarterback, or a defensive tackle playing wide receiver and running routes and stuff like that. And it'd be awesome to watch. But flags. Or two-hand touch. I mean, they'd probably make it official and do flags because it's the NFL and it's being televised. But you get way more viewers, especially the first year. And guess what? You try it 1 year and it goes wrong, go back to your original format. But guess what? You're not getting anywhere. And pretty soon they're going to start owing people money, owing advertisers money like ESPN did with college football coverage. That's what
It's debatable. It is, and I think it's something that should be addressed soon, or at least a big change, or just get rid of it altogether. But all right, we got the NHL All-Star Game coming up this weekend in Nashville. Sully, you are the hockey guy. You can go in this a little bit more. I can comment a little bit. I mean, I know a decent amount, but I'm not in the same level as you, of course. So do you want to get a little introduction?
Just so for those of you who aren't aware, the big John Scott debacle, we talked about it before.
I'll talk about that too, so we go on. I know plenty of that.
Fans go on Reddit. They want to see John Scott in the All-Star game for whatever reason. He gets voted in. Other players are voting him in. It turns out to be pretty cool. Gets traded from the Coyotes to the Canadians, who don't need an enforcer. A, because they're the Canadians and they don't do that. B, because they're doing fine and they have no spot for someone on like that on their team right now. And the Coyotes are actually doing well. You don't trade your enforcer when a team is doing well. So Scott gets traded, and he's kind of, no one's come out and said it, but it's kind of looking like the NHL orchestrated the incident so he wouldn't be on the All-Star team. So he comes out, writes this big long piece on the Players Tribune, and people are really coming to his side, and I can understand. He's a journeyman guy. He almost was about to leave the league before he got called up to Minnesota. But this is one of the dirtiest players in hockey, and people are.
That's what I wanted to talk about. Like any Bruin fan, like I don't understand like what people were so in love about John Scott was. 2 or 3 years ago, I remember the game that they played Buffalo at. The first period had gone by, and the guy had like roughed Marchand and like. Not just rough Marchand, like he would like taking big shots at him and Bergeron. And I was just sitting there like thinking, am I crazy? Like I love brutal hockey and guys getting much, but this is completely messed up for someone to do. And then to make matters worse, when they go into the intermission, Mike Milbury, one of the dirtiest players ever, remind you, Mike Milbury is a guy who also climbed over the boards and beat up a New York Rangers fan with his shoe. So not Milbury's shoe. He took a shoe off of the fan and beat him up with the shoe. And when you have him telling you that John Scott is a dirty player, I don't understand why the people are voting him in. This is a guy who beat somebody up and climbed over the freaking stands and fought a fan, and he's saying that this guy's dirty, and the fans are behind this and voting this guy into the All-Star game.
I don't understand either. And one of the cool things, well, not cool, but Shane Doan, Shane Doan, captain of the Arizona Coyotes. But when John Scott got voted as a captain to the All-Star team, at that point he had 11 goals in his career. Shane Doan had 11 goals in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Milbury had made a stat about that. He was calling him like a fraud and like a phony, and like you have 11 goals and this is what you show for and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and he did say that. That's right. So get him off the ice. He's obviously not there to play hockey.
He suspended like 20 games after that, didn't he? And then the Sabres got rid of him, I thought, too.
Yeah, he's bounced around a lot. But another interesting thing, Jonathan Toews and Alexander Ovechkin both sitting out the All-Star game, and as a result, they get suspended 1 game each.
That makes absolutely no sense to me. That is so stupid for Bettman. Like, how is Bettman living with himself doing that?
He's a complete scumbag. The dude could kill a small puppy and absolutely be fine with it. He's a terrible person. Terrible.
Did you see that picture on Barstool? I think Feidelberg retweeted it. It was so funny. It was a picture of Roger Goodell and Gary Bettman just together in a picture. Neither of them are smiling. They're
the most evil, diabolical people in the world.
And the caption wrote, "This is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life."
So he suspends both of those guys. And as a result, they're not taking the All-Star game. Ovechkin doesn't really deserve the spot for the Capitals. Holtby is playing in the game as a goalie, but Alexander, I think his name's Kunechski. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's leading the Caps in goals this year. He's been playing unbelievable.
And Washington's playing out of their minds, man. It's insane how much like far ahead in the East it is, because the East is pretty close, and they're ahead by like 10, 12 points or something crazy like that.
You know why? Because for the first time since Ovechkin has been on that team, they are playing team defense, and he has never done that. He's never bought in, and he's getting older, and he's like, you know what? I have a chance to go down in history as a better player than Crosby, even though Crosby came into the league and he was going to, he was pegged as that player. He's, banged up from concussions. He's not playing well. His team's not going in the right direction. I can take a huge run, win 3 cups in like 6 years, something like that, like Chicago did, and maybe go down as one of the best players of all time. And I think he's starting to smarten up with his old age and realize that. And now he's like, if I play two-way hockey, my team has a chance to win.
The Washington Capitals remind me too much of the St. Louis Blues, though. They're that team that plays so well during the regular season. They make a lot of noise. You think they're going to do well. And then they always find that team that outplays them in the playoffs. For St. Louis, for instance, it's the Blackhawks. Every single time they just happen to meet them and they blow it. And then everyone's like, the Blues are going to make a run this year. I picked them to win the Cup like 2 times in the last 5 years. They completely just took a dump on my predictions. And I'm never picking against you. I'm just going to pick the Blackhawks just to make a safe bet every single year because that's exactly what happens. But that's what the Capitals remind me of. You know, what was it a couple years ago when they beat the Bruins in 7 games? And they knocked out the Bruins, and they were like one of the top seeds that year. And I'm like, oh, Washington could make a run. And then the following round, they just lay an egg or a bomb or whatever in the game against the Rangers. Was it New York or
I think it was
Philly? Even
Philadelphia. That was the year Philly went to the Cup Finals and lost to Chicago.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
There you go.
But I don't know. This is. We'll wrap this up, but I just think the new format, NHL All-Star Game 3-on-3, I think this is a time for all other leagues because the baseball All-Star Game, as much as people crap on it, it's still good. It's still fun. It's still enjoyable. Matt Harvey is still going out there and throwing.
Derby was a change and a success this year too when they changed the rules to that.
Yep. And it was so exciting. It was so exciting this year. Guys jacking out homers left and right, trying to beat the clock and stuff like that. I thought that was awesome. Now, the NBA All-Star Game, which
we'll just be discreet, just do some NBA talk. I guess there's a lot of things you can talk about the NBA right now.
Yeah, so the NBA All-Star Game, same thing. I mean, I'm not saying the NHL All-Star Game is fantastic. It's usually high scoring. It's usually not fun to watch because people are going half speed. There's no contact. The goalies don't want to get hurt, so they're not really trying too hard. NBA All-Star Game is just more of the same thing. No one's playing defense. People are just jacking up big dunks and stuff like that and trying to be fancy.
NBA All-Star Weekend, though, is awesome, though.
It is. It is. And they have the best festival probably with the three-point shootout and dunk contest and everything.
How many times do you think we're gonna see Drake this weekend on camera?
Way too many. I love the guy, but he's such a bandwagon fan.
And the game is in Toronto too, which is even worse.
I don't understand. That's another thing. Sting got hired as the halftime show.
That is laughable that they got him to do it. Everybody they could have done, they did Sting.
It should be Drake, obviously because of Toronto. But you know what sparked it is last year they had Ariana Grande, and everyone was making a big deal about how she looked like a 12-year-old cheerleader and stuff like that. And they were like, "No, we don't want to deal with any of that this year. We're not dealing with."
Go on and get Sting though. Like I like the Police, but come on, man, not for the. That's to get people hyped up. Message in a bottle. Like, dude, I don't think anyone's gonna want to have to hear that kind of stuff at the game. People don't want to listen to Sting. They're gonna want to hear some like upbeat music or something like that.
Yeah, no, I think so too, and I think Toronto is kind of an easy bet. It's a layup. All you have to do is hire Drake. That's what I think.
So yeah, that's going on with the All-Star Game. I mean, my boy Isaiah Thomas got selected to the All-Star Game yesterday. Really excited about that. He's had a great year. Celtics have won 4 in a row too, so I'm excited for them. What's even better is the Cleveland Cavaliers look like they're an absolute disaster. That makes me happy.
Oh, let's talk about this. How does their head coach get named the All-Star team coach? How does that happen? He's played 3 games. He's coached 3 games.
Yeah, wait, so Blatt's not coaching it? Tyronn Lue's coaching it?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Of the East.
Dude, they were talking about how Blatt was going to coach it and how funny it would have been if he like benched LeBron. He's coaching the game now?
Yeah. Yep.
That is ridiculous. And now I guess there's like sources coming out saying LeBron had something to do with it, which is obvious. And now he's saying that he didn't. He's such a freaking liar. He's a scumbag.
He has to say that. I would say the same thing if I were in LeBron's shoes. He's
an idiot. So other big news in the NBA, a lot of people talking about the Blake Griffin situation that happened, ironically, in Toronto couple nights ago, or probably a couple nights ago, I guess. So there's Blake Griffin's not even playing in the game. He's hurt. And I guess after the game, they went out to dinner, a couple of guys, including the assistant equipment manager that he's good friends with and he goes on vacation with. And there was just like friendly argument turned into like a bunch of just yelling and screaming at each other. And then Blake Griffin punched him in the face. He broke his finger in the process, and he's out 4 to 6 weeks now. He made a statement. I'll read it real quick. A situation among friends escalated. This is Blake Griffin talking. A situation among friends escalated, and I regret the way I handled myself towards someone I care about. I want to apologize to the Clippers, my teammates, and the fans for creating a distraction. I'm working with the team on a resolution and getting back to the game as soon as possible. How many more distractions is this team going to have at LA? I mean, you had the whole DeAndre Jordan fiasco that happened in the offseason with Mark Cuban, and now you have Griffin. Now there's even trade rumors coming around that they're trying to trade Chris Paul to Cleveland for Kyrie Irving. That was another rumor I heard. A lot of bad attention going on for the Clippers. In the West, where the people are just so much better than the East, with the Spurs and the Warriors obviously dominating, they're still in 4th place. But this is now the second incident in the NBA that Blake Griffin's had with battery charges going against him, assault battery. What do you think about this?
What was the first?
Didn't he like punch a fan? I thought, or some. I actually no. It wasn't a fan. It was he was in Las Vegas, and a cameraman was flashing cameras at him, and he like punched him for like taking pictures or filming him or something like that. So it wasn't a fan. I'll never mind about that. That was not true.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of Bill Simmons asks the question a lot of times: is Doc Rivers still a good basketball coach? And I think he is. I think he's a really good coach. But I think that group is just a motley crew of uncoachable guys. That's what
they are. Yeah, you could not have said it. You couldn't have said it better.
You look at the big three between KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, and those are 3 of the most coachable guys to come around. I mean, KG's a certified nutcase, but he's still coachable and he wants to win.
He's the kind of guy that wants you to rip him apart though as a coach because he wants to like win and stuff. He's a psycho, and that's the kind of thing you want. You got guys like DeAndre Jordan. I just feel like, I don't know, they just don't seem like they really care. I mean, DeAndre Jordan's one of the worst free throw shooters I've ever seen, and it hasn't got better. He hasn't like taken the time to look like to improve. I mean, and the thing is, this Clippers team is so capable of making a run to the NBA Finals. I mean, they beat the Warriors 2 years ago. They beat the Spurs last year, and they should have beat the Houston Rockets and played Golden State in the Western semifinals. But they choked. They choked. So it gets to a point where it's like, yeah, we have all these guys on the team, and they can only go in one certain direction after this. And with all these distractions going on between Griffin and all that, it's just going to make matters worse for them. And now these trade rumors and stuff, which I don't even think is going to happen. I mean, the last thing I think Chris Paul is going to want to do is go join the freaking circus in Cleveland right now with that coaching situation, even though he is good friends with LeBron. But who would want to go to that situation right now? The team's in absolute turmoil right now. Not winning wise, they're winning games. They're making problems themselves, and the ringleader is LeBron James. I don't know why anyone would want to go play there right now. It's just it's a team mess. Winning is not a big issue there, but the team issues are really prevalent.
Yeah, I mean, we can go back to the Jordan versus LeBron debate all the time, but the only one that matters, 6 rings to 1, and until LeBron gets there, and Jordan didn't win his first ring until he was about LeBron's age when he won his. So I'm not gonna say it's not impossible, but I am gonna say that people get sick of playing with a certain type of player, and if you're that type of player, then good luck finding guys to play with.
Yep. All right, so you want to wrap this up now with final thoughts?
What's your final thought? What do you got from me, Zach?
My final thought is rest in peace, Afro Duck, a beloved duck on campus, died the other day. It's pretty sad, actually. It was like I don't know if you probably don't know about this, but like there was a duck that had like a poofy hair like in the top. It looked like an afro, and a lot of students were like, "Oh, like Afro Duck," and it was really weird because the duck was being like really friendly, and I saw him on the OSU Snapchat like hanging around people, and he was all over the place. And then the next day, he was just laying in the lake like on his side, dead. It was pretty sad. So now they're gonna stuff him, I guess. They're like getting like a GoFundMe campaign going to get the duck stuffed. I don't know. That's a little weird for me, but love a tradition. Ezekiel Elliott tweeted out, "Rest in peace, Afro Duck," and he's like, "Damn, I'm devastated, man." It's just like, and then someone wrote under him a comment, "It's a duck." Like, like he's like, "Dude, it's a duck. There's nothing else to it." So that's my final thought for now, I guess. So. Yeah, Braxton Miller killing it in the Senior Bowl. That's awesome.
Okay. I was going to mention that. Braxton Miller dominating in the Senior Bowl. Just running his routes. And the bowl hasn't even happened. Just practice. Just the practice. Running his routes just like no one has any business being on the same team as him. And, man, he looks good. And I think his draft stock just skyrocketed after that.
It should skyrocket. So looking forward to seeing all that stuff.
He shouldn't go until the second round. You know why? Because the Pats need a deep threat. And I can go all day talking about that, but I won't because I'm sick of talking about the Pats.
Yeah, we'll get more into our Super Bowl talk next week too, with our preview and picks and stuff. See if anything interesting happens during media week too. So, all right, man, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I'm Josh Sullivan in Lee, Massachusetts. That's Zach. He's in Columbus, Ohio. And we want to thank you for turning in. And stay tuned on Monday. We'll have your next episode, episode 6, because clearly I got the numbers wrong.
Later.
Peace.